to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. Online, it is retire210.com. This is where we talk about retirement and some of the questions that you might have, the concerns, maybe the fears that you might have. We hope to deal with those here on the show. And if it's time to talk about your retirement, let's get that conversation going. Retire210.com, or to talk to Jay, it is 210-985-6200. All right, Jay. My headline on this is headlines are BS, okay?
All right.
Because I am out there looking, for stories for the show all the time. And, I see these people talk about, the markets and the future and the predictions and all this. Robert Kiyosaki is a guy. He's a financial author. He's very well known. He wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he was very well received as bestseller and everything like that. He was out this week saying this: baby boomers will be homeless or living in RVs as Social Security and Medicare are broke.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
And I think he's going to write the next Mad Max movie, too. I don't know. That's not looking good there. So I actually went in and I said, okay, so what other big people have made predictions that have not come true? And so here are a few that I found. Warren Buffett said, this incredible period of economic prosperity will be done by the end of the year. He said that in 2023. And, the market went way up in 23. Harry Dent. He's
and 24 and 25.
That's right.
Yeah.
Harry Dent predicted major crashes almost every single year. He's a very negative guy. And he said in 2023 that NVIDIA would drop 90 to 98%. That year, the market was up 20%. And this is my favorite. In 2004, one financial writer trashed a new IPO that came out. He said, this stock will be highly disappointing and not maintain its market share. That was Google that did that IPO. Swing and a miss. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
So my question to you, these headlines affect us emotionally. We look through these things.
Absolutely.
How many times have you had brand new people walk through the door? You've never seen them before, and the reason they came in is because of negative headlines? Or how many clients do you have that have called you up and say, I know we have a plan, and I feel good about the plan, but did you see this? Did you see this, Jay? We're supposed to have 6% inflation in 6 months, and we're going into a recession. What is that going to do to my retirement? Do people get shook?
Yeah, so especially the longer people are clients with us, we kind of train them out of that, and they get used to it. And, we have the discussion of, hey, look, we put a plan together and we didn't think that everything was going to be rosy the entire time that you're retired, right? Like, first of all, things are planned for in the work that we do. But this is also a great conversation to look at a couple different issues, right? Tuning out the noise is incredibly important, as you mentioned, because it will just drive you crazy. But this is essentially the financial media, right? So I don't know. I mean, we've got CNBC on at the office most of the time, or Bloomberg or whatever. I watch it at home a lot as well. Those guys have got a tough job, man.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to schedule 18 hours of programming around a topic that's not really the most exciting topic in the world either. And they've got to find things to make. Wall Street Journal, every day, they've got to fill a whole paper full of content. So if you've got someone saying, hey, NVIDIA is going to go to zero, well, throw that in there. At least that'll take up a half a page, right? So like you've got to realize where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And in my book, In Wall Street's Game, this is so prevalent and so damaging to some people with their investments and their planning. I wrote a whole chapter on this in Wall Street's Game. And it's basically, it's called fear-based marketing. Right? And it's to get eyeballs, it's to get attention, it's to get leads. When you bring this up, I remember this is going back probably like 15 years, maybe like 2012 or so. I've got satellite radio in the car because I'm usually listening to CNBC or Bloomberg or something, when I'm driving somewhere. And there was this ad. I don't know if you ever heard it where you are. There was this ad, right? And it was in this like very serious, like concerned voice. It says, in the next 90 days, something will happen that will shake the U.S. to its core. That went on for 5 years, right? That ad. And so, of course, like, you could go to this website or something and get some report about something that they know about that nobody else knows about. And it's the same sort of stuff we're talking about here, right? Robert, I don't know what's happened to him lately. Like the last few years, he's been kind of on that buy gold, buy silver, everything's going to hell type of thing. I don't know. Maybe he's just getting older. People tend to get a little more fearful, when they get older, right? So maybe, I don't know if that's what his situation is. But I mean, this sort of stuff happens all the time. And let's take it to step 2, right? I think the first one you mentioned was Warren, right? At the end of 23 or sometime in 23. If that guy can't get it right, you surely can't get it right.
What a great point. That's so good. It almost reminds me of when you were a kid. On Saturday night, they would show the scary movies on TV, the creature features and all that kind of, and you remember what the ads were in there? They were for alarm systems and all that kind of, it's fear-based advertising. You're sitting there, and the bad guy's going to get the babysitter, and you go, if I only had an alarm system,
Exactly right.
Same kind of stuff.
But it sells, right? It's a marketing system that sells. So, I mean, that's not going away. So get used to it. Right?
It is. It's clickbait in many instances here. If you see a headline that says Nvidia's going down 98%, you'd probably click on that. All right. You're listening to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. Online, it is retire210.com. And Jay mentioned his book, Wall Street's Game. And you can actually download one of the chapters there from the book right there on your computer and get a little idea of what that's all about. And if you schedule an appointment and sit down and talk about your retirement, we'll give you the book as well. Online, it's retire210.com or 210-985-6200. Well, I'm going to take you back just a little bit during COVID. And you remember that during COVID, there were a lot of people that decided, I'm out. They're going to retire. They said, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just out. Well, they called it the Great Resignation. Millions of people retired. Well, guess what? Just like in Poltergeist, they're back. 63% of the people that retired during COVID went back to work, and their reasons are split. Half of them needed more money. And then the other half said, I'm bored. I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to do something. So, all right. So that brings up this. If you have a client that retired, triggered Social Security, and then thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to work. That brings up some difficulties, doesn't it? Some tax problems. And I mean, can you unwind all that? Do you stop Social Security? Can you stop Social Security? Well, person, what are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, the first thing is, how old are they when they're doing this?
Okay.
Right. So if they're before full retirement age, which for most people now is 67, right? Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some issues. You're probably going to get your Social Security benefit reduced. Right, so they put an earnings cap on you, and I don't know what the exact figure is now, but it's not much. It's 20 grand or maybe a little bit over that you're capped at that limit before they'll start reducing your Social Security benefits. So, could there be a cash flow issue if you went back to work and thought, well, I just need to make a couple of grand here, and I've still got my Social Security, but then they start reducing it. So then you work more to try and offset that, and then they reduce it more, right? You really want to try and avoid getting into that situation. And I'd bring this back to a bigger kind of topic, right? And you're right. We, in 2020 till probably 2022, maybe even 2023, the number of people that were just like, I'm done with this, right? It was kind of funny. What we saw is when everyone got sent to work from home, everyone was like, I don't want to work from home. Like, I want to be in the office. Then when they try to bring them back, they're like, I don't want to be in the office. I want to work from home. So it was kind of like back and forth with that. But there were some rash decisions made. And, I think to be fair, you've got to give everybody a bit of a pass with the chaos that was going on at that time, right? But rash decisions were made and planning was not done. Yeah. That's what it was, right? Yep. Because if there's a certain percentage that are if you're going back because you're bored, okay, that's a bit different, right? But if you're going back because financially you have to go back, there was either no planning done or incredibly poor planning done, right? Yep. Because one of the first things that should have been asked, because this is one of the first things we ask, if someone's 60, 62, 63, You're going to retire. Do you want to take Social Security right away? That's kind of a different discussion. Well, hey, is this a change in career, a slowdown in career? Like, hey, I worked 40 hours in corporate and I do want to do something else. I want to go and work at Home Depot for 20 hours a week. I just don't want the stress. Okay, that's one discussion. It's a different discussion if, no, I'm retiring. If I was going to keep working, I'd just keep working. I want to retire fully, and I want to go and travel and spend time with my grandkids. That's a different discussion again, right? Mm-hmm. But the whole thing keeps coming back to, if these things are popping up and causing financial problems, which they will, right? Mm-hmm. Just the discussion we had, there wasn't much done on the front end.
Yep. You're listening to Clear Skies Retirement with Jay Kirkwood at Secure Financial Management. That idea that you retire quickly on your own terms just says you want to get out, and it's still going to take some planning to go along with that. You know, triggering Social Security, how much do you take from your 401k? Is there income coming in? You know, it is a discussion that really needs to be taken place. Give Jay a call. Talk to the team. Retire210.com is the website. You can go there today, learn more about secure financial management, and you can download a chapter from Jay's book called Wall Street's Game. But if you come in and sit down in a no-cost, no-obligation meeting, we'll give you a copy of the book, and that's going to be a place where you can sit down and ask all of your questions and talk about your concerns and say, I've saved this, and this is where I've saved, and this is what I want to do in retirement. This is how much travel I want to do. Let's put the whole thing together and see if there's any gaps there. Are there any tax problems in the future? Let's look down, kind of the binoculars of life and see what could be out there in the future. Let's plan for it now. 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200. All right. One of the things that many of us will do as we get into retirement is we have a 401k. It might be your biggest retirement asset. And we all know that taxes have never been taken out of that money. So as you get into retirement, you hear about things like RMDs and the tax time bomb and all this kind of thing. So people talk about a conversion, moving some of that money from the tax place over to the non-taxed place and then paying the taxes a little bit along the way. However, that can be a interesting calculation. You don't want to get that wrong because it could have impact on your Medicare premiums. It could have impact on your Social Security. Is that calculation, Jay, so razor thin that you just got to get it right and it's best left to people like you and accountants and CFPs and all that kind of thing? Can we do that ourselves? Do you find people make mistakes?
Yeah, anybody who wants to do it themselves, I never try and talk out of it because those just don't end up being good clients, good relationships. Okay. But people also tend to get themselves in trouble, right? And I'll give you two examples. We've talked about this a little bit before. Let's talk about more so about starting the process, the importance of starting the process of conversions and unwinding that big, I guess you could call it tax time bomb, right? And not letting it go. And we have some clients now that came to us a couple of years ago, and they had, I think I've told you this before, they'd been coming to talk to us for like 10 years, and they'd come and see us and then kind of like not do anything, and then a few years later they'd circle back around and we'd talk, or they'd come to an event or whatever it is, and it kind of just never went anywhere. And then I think it was in 24, they came in and they're like, okay, like, great, we want to work with you, let's start moving everything over. I was like, all right, fine. So the guys kind of start the process. And I said to them, something has obviously triggered this event, right? Like people take action when kind of something happens. And I said, hey, what made this the right time? What changed? And he said, well, we've got this RBMs or DMRs or I was like, oh, you're about the right age for an RMD. Is that what it is? He's like, yeah, the distributions. So, okay. And so this couple, like very, very financially successful, right? They both work somewhere where they have very generous pension. They've both got Social Security. So between those four streams of income, really, right, the two pensions and the two Social Securities, they're on something like $120,000+ a year. $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Right. Nice income, and so they never had to touch their 401ks. And they just stayed there, and they just let them grow and grow and grow. And now they're in their 70s, and they've each got $2 or $3 million in these 401ks. Never done any planning, never done any conversions, and they're distribution was something like 150 grand or something between them, right? It was quite a bit of money. And so with their other income, as far as the IRS is concerned, they've made 270,000 plus. It might have even been more than 150. I don't know, it was a lot of money. And so now what that's triggering also, and I just told them so that they can get ahead of it and they can see it. I was like, hey, something else that's going to happen now is you're going to get hit with Medicare premium surcharges, right? So your Part B, that's about a couple $100, is going to have a surcharge on it now. And they are probably never, and that's called IRMAA, right? Income related monthly, whatever it is. So IRMAA is a surcharge for Medicare. They will probably never be out of IRMAA surcharges.
Ouch.
For the rest of their life, right? Because we talk about it all the time. You've got this 10, 15-year runway, whatever it is, from when you retire to get ahead of this. Get ahead of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be in a world of pain if you don't do it. So when you say, can you do it yourself? Well, the first thing is most people don't do it themselves. Like, it's just kind of like not even on their radar, right? And then just like with this couple, like, there's nothing unusual about them. Like, they're very smart people. It's just that is not their specialty.
Right.
That is not their forte. You know, they weren't in the investment world. They've got a very comfortable life, and it's something that was coming down the tracks that they didn't see coming, and they missed the opportunity to jump out of its way.
So then there's the question of when and how much. And do you find that people, like, say you have somebody who's a real high income earner and they're in their highest income years and they're going to retire at 65. And so doing those conversions between 62 and 65, maybe not a good idea. Wait until you get into your retirement when the income might be a little bit less and we can move some things around. Do you find people wait until they retire to do this, or do they need that whole 10-year runway?
Yeah, I haven't seen a situation where someone would want to do that while they were working. Now, what you could do, right, is you could start, most 401ks have a Roth component inside the 401k, right? So if you've been socking all this money away pre-tax, do you want to start doing conversions at that point while you're still working? Probably not. Would it be wise to maybe make Roth contributions to your 401k instead of compounding the pre-tax? Maybe that's an issue that you could investigate. But this is why, this is such an important topic, Randy. This is why with our firm, we've got it fully integrated with CPAs and estate planning attorneys, because when people arrive at retirement, that's great, you got there. Now are the problems start, right? And when I say problems, I don't want to be negative, but there's issues you need to address maybe instead of being negative, right? And one of them is going to be taxes, and one of them is going to be estate planning. Most people haven't done their wills or their estate planning when they come to retirement, right? So we kind of put that all kind of around our firm so that people can come, they've got the investment side taken care of and the planning, the estate planning, the tax management also taken care of. And this is something that's kind of like the next phase in our firm is, nothing's changing with the retirement planning, the investment management, but we are going to find ways to expand into the tax management side of it, because that's the next big thing, right? Yep. So if you look at this is crazy, right? I just thought about this the other day. The oldest Gen Xers are 62 this year. Or 62 this year, right? And I keep thinking, like, someone comes to my office 62, another boomer's getting ready to retire. No, it's not. Like, a lot of those guys are already in retirement, right?
That's right.
And because of this reason, and this number is kind of shocking, and I think it's almost a number that you hear it and you're like, oh, that's big, and you can't really comprehend it. Do you know how much is in pre-tax accounts through the country? IRAs, 401ks, 457, et cetera, et cetera.
It's in the trillions, isn't it?
40 trillion.
Oh my God. No, it's that
40 trillion, right? And someone could say, well, you can't include pensions in that because, well, whatever, right? It all hasn't been taxed yet, right? It's around the 40 trillion mark.
Wow.
And kind of, the boomers are the biggest generation. Like, they've moved into retirement, and there's that kind of like phase one of like, all right, getting these guys planned out, prepped into a successful retirement. Okay. Phase two of that, and that's why we're leaning more into the tax side of it now, is, all right, out of that 40 trillion, not all of it's owned by boomers. but a whole heck of a lot of it is, but probably 70, 80%, right?
Gosh.
And now it's, how do we help these guys unwind this situation without giving the majority, not the majority, but a good percentage of their hard work to the government?
Uncle Sam is just licking his chops right now, isn't he? I mean, $40 trillion. That is you want to talk about a source of income? That is huge for this country.
It makes you wonder, and I don't think this is a solution, right? But it makes you wonder when we look at like the national debt, Social Security and Medicare. You'd kind of wonder if the government's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We've got some money coming into the next few years.
That's why.
With all the taxation of these pre-tax accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that you talk about, and next week we're going to talk a little bit more about Social Security. I found another article that gave, here's 8 things that Congress can do for Social Security, and it'll, solve this much, that much, this much. And I mean, there's so much focus on that right now that this is something that's off there and we don't even think about. And it is a source of income for the government. Let's see what we can do about putting more of that money in your pocket with some good tax planning. Give Jay and the team a call at Secure Financial Management. Let's talk about your retirement. Let's talk about your 401k and Roths and all that goes along with it. Let's fund your retirement and not Uncle Sam's. Here's the number. It's 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200, or use the website, which is retire210.com. There you'll see a copy of Jay's book. You can download a chapter there, and it's called Wall Street's Game. And it really does give you a really good idea of what you're up against as you get into this retirement system. And that's really what it is, the financial system. I mean, when you go to the hospital, you're in the medical system. When you go to you get your car fixed, you get put into their system. You are being put into a system here, folks, and it doesn't all work in your favor. You got to stand up for yourself and know what you're getting into. Give Jay a call. 210-985-6200. It's a no-cost, no-obligation meeting about your retirement. And remember to have this podcast delivered straight to your favorite podcast platform by hitting like, follow, or the subscribe button. Thanks again for listening to Clear Skies Retirement, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jay Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.